We've just had the publication of a Government National League tables on planning enforcement and most planning enforcement notices served in the country. So out of 309 councils, we ranked at number 5, which is the first time we've been in the top 5. We've been in the top 10 the last 4 years, but this is the first time we've jumped up to number 5, which we're really pleased about.
It means that we are proactive and we are taking care of our environment and our conservation areas and making sure that people who are breaching planning laws are being called to account.
This is the site of a long-standing enforcement case which the council successfully concluded. The gist of it is that the developers started work here during COVID. They were London-based and quite difficult to get hold of, being polite. And they demolished a significant part of an historic wall, which is in the conservation area. It was really helpful that the enforcement team from Cornwall Council got involved. They actually managed a successful prosecution. So the developer has had to reinstate the wall, or the bulk of it, and you can see that behind me now.
The one that I'm specifically interested in is the one at Treen a couple of years ago, where there was a caravan and a shed put up on an agricultural field in the open countryside. And I'm glad that enforcement did take place because it would have set a precedent, and very open countryside really would have made a big difference if it was allowed to continue. It was going to be left there all year round. There was also a building that was being erected for storage for other equipment. So, you know, an iconic landscape right on the cliffs at Treen. The enforcement contacted me. I went, viewed the site. I knew the site well anyway, and I was surprised that anybody even thought that would be acceptable, to be honest. And I'm glad that the enforcement officer was of the same mind and acted swiftly.
In the year 24-25, we served 90 planning enforcement notices. There's 3 parts to the planning system. There's planning policy, there's planning applications, and there's planning enforcement. And they're all fundamentally dependent on each other. So there's no point a council determining planning applications if then what is built is not in accordance with that planning application. And the purpose of planning enforcement is to prevent inappropriate development that wouldn't get planning permission or is not being built in accordance with planning permission. Therefore, it's contrary to planning policy. That's how it all intertwines with each other.
Our message to developers is we will always work with developers who abide by the planning regulations. We've had about 164 cases where we negotiated a good outcome. We didn't have to do any enforcement. Now that's a really good way to manage things that are breaches. We also had 171 that we received a retrospective planning applications, which means we regularised the planning development, and that means we've got the opportunity to put in controls and conditions for any application that's come through.